courtroom.
Thank you very much. Welcome to another day of proceedings at the North Gauteng High Court here in the centre of Pretoria. Oscar Pistorius has arrived in the last few minutes, and there was the usual scrum, perhaps not as big as it was yesterday, but he walked past us and seemed to have a much more relaxed look on his face than he has in previous days. Of course, now he does not have a possible murder conviction hanging over him anymore. Today we find out if Oscar Pistorius is going to be convicted of the lesser charge of culpable homicide or indeed acquitted. And we're also going to hear about the outcomes of 3 firearms charges that have also been heard in court during the course of this murder trial. But Oscar Pistorius really did seem a more relieved person as he came into court a few minutes ago. We followed him in, and proceedings will be getting going any minute now. Judge Masipa will start to speak and continue to deliver her judgment. I'm with William Booth, who's a South African lawyer, and we're going to mull over a little about what happened yesterday. It all came to a rather abrupt halt. William, what did you make of what we heard yesterday from Judge Masipa?
Well, I think one aspect that stood out was her heavy criticism of Oscar's testimony and dealing with all these different versions. I'm still not sure which version she's going to accept as to what happened. And I think it's important because if we go back to his defense being one of self-defense, or one of his defenses, you know, that he actually knowingly shot, intending to kill, but his conduct should be excused because he was under imminent threat because of an intruder. That's what the law says, and if you go beyond that, you could be convicted of murder. But at one point he said he had no intention to shoot. He, in fact, at one stage said that he acted involuntarily, that it was an accident. So these are all the different versions that Judge Masipa has dealt with and criticized Oscar about. However, she said, well, you can lie, but it doesn't mean to say you're guilty of any crime. The issue with regard to premeditated murder, I think that was really off the table from pretty much the beginning of the trial. So I'm not surprised about that ruling. I was a bit surprised about the ruling on the issue of dolus eventialis, and that he actually didn't exceed the bounds of self-defense with regard to the other murder charge, the lesser murder charge. You know, murder without premeditation.
That was the dolus eventualis that she mentioned, that Latin term that South African law contains.
We don't want to confuse everybody about these legal terminologies. Can I tell you, many legal people and judges at the highest level have become confused about this particular terminology, and some lower court judges' decisions have been overturned higher up based on a wrong interpretation of the law. And maybe the state will say that this has been wrongly interpreted and apply for leave to appeal going ahead.
What does that actually entail? If the state really do think that this is a legal mistake, what's the process?
Well, Oscar first has to be sentenced. So if he's convicted today on culpable homicide, manslaughter, which seems to be the case. I mean, I think everybody will fall over if Judge Masipa does not convict him on the culpable homicide charge, because she's criticized him with regard to his conduct, what he did and what he didn't do, and that she's described him as being negligent. Of course, there are the other charges, but I don't think they're particularly significant. So going ahead, he's got to be sentenced first, and then leave to appeal can be applied for.
I'm going to stop you there, William, because we're about to find out. Judge Masipa is just about to start speaking. We'll take you straight into court.